Hey friends, what's up? I just want to take a few minutes to talk about how we can manage our stress better during the holiday season. Particularly when we want to perform our best and continue performing well into the new year, especially when we've got goals that we may be getting after for New Year's resolutions, or maybe to finish off this year strong. We need to keep in mind the stress that kind of comes into place when we are getting into the holiday season and how we can experience less stress during the holidays. And it seems like in the last couple of years, things have become more and more stressful around the holiday season. Now, a lot of us are experiencing things like the additional financial stress that's going on and things like that. So, let's take a few minutes to kind of talk about some of the strategies that we can use when it comes to managing stress in the holiday season. And particularly, this is going to be around what we can plan out so that we can keep in mind our needs for recovery, our unique needs for recovery, and how we can keep on performing well and also make the most out of the holiday season rather than feeling burnt out or wanting to go and hide away. We can really enjoy and get the most out of this wonderful time of the year and into the new year. So, first off, let's talk about financial stress and what we can do around that. You know, around kind of this whole like recession or economic downturn kind of concerns that we've got going on, it can feel stressful, particularly around the additional expenses like gifts and giving gifts or travel and things like that that go on around the holidays. So it's important to plan ahead. And I find that this is very helpful for reducing that stress so that you can keep performing well or just enjoy and not feel like it's a last minute, sprint through the mall to find all the gifts on Christmas Eve that you need to give to your friends and family. Plan ahead, and hopefully you've already started this. A lot of people certainly take advantage of Black Friday and kind of use that as like the springboard into holiday shopping. But over the next couple of weeks, try to like space things out while you've got, you know, paychecks coming in and any additional purchases going out for holiday gifts. If you plan ahead, it can make it a lot more realistic to not experience that stress and that additional financial burden of gift giving so that you can really enjoy. Now, for myself, I actually like to take it a step further and just automate some savings that go into um, my account for gifts and everything all the time. So that's something that I make use of with just having like a fund where gifts can kind of pull out of year round is one way that I really make this sort of applicable and practical, and it just kind of helps me to do it that way. But maybe you just kind of set aside that additional money over the next couple of paychecks and you can also do it that way. Now, the other thing to think about, and we'll talk about this in point number 3 with looking forward to things. A lot of us go on vacation or have holidays around this time of year too, and that's where also kind of saving up ahead of time makes that much more realistic that we can enjoy those holidays. But we'll talk about that more in point 3 as well. Now, around social stress, I think this is another important aspect for a lot of people at this sort of juncture of the year because we do have a lot of social activities going on. We tend to overexert ourselves with those social engagements if we're not kind of planning ahead and recognizing that additional stressor on our system, particularly for people who are more introverted or do like to kind of have that self-care, self-time when we have to engage with like our friends and family. And it's a wonderful thing to do. We want to make the most of that time. So anticipating and knowing that it's coming up, maybe you take a little bit more extra like time for yourself to do individual things in the next couple of weeks before all the holiday events start to happen. Getting in for like going for like a float, sensory deprivation tanks to kind of completely eliminate that social stressor is one wonderful thing. But getting out in nature, going for walks in the forest on your own, other things like that that allow you that time to yourself to sort of reduce the social stressors and allow you to build up a little more reserve there can really make a difference so that you can be fully engaged and present with the the holiday events that you've got going on, because it is a wonderful part of this time of year. We don't always get to spend a whole lot of time with our friends and family, and this time of year where we do have more of these social gatherings going on is something that we want to make the most of, because community and that sense of being part of a group is really important to our overall performance, mainly because it helps to reduce stressors. And so knowing to find that balance there is really helpful at this time of year. And the other thing to think about with that and reducing like the social stress is to once again just be fully present and grateful for the chance to get together with friends and family so that you can um, kind of go into the new year kind of reinvigorated by that whole process and not feeling just like drained and worn out. Now, the third point is, what can you look forward to at this time of year? And how can you look forward to those things? So once again, if it's something like dreading those social engagements and thinking about how it's just going to be like an additional burden or stressor, if you are more introverted or you like your time to yourself and you're feeling worn out, because usually this time of year does pack in a lot of work and sort of performance goals around the workplace, because we all want to hit those goals before the end of the year. We often feel like we are completely drained out, and then we have to also kind of surge through and push to be part of those social gatherings and the family and friends events. But if we look forward to it and remember that we only get few and far between of those types of events throughout the year, that can really make a difference for enjoying it and getting the most out of it and being really grateful, rather than feeling like as it's some sort of dreaded event. Regardless of who you're gathering with and the situation, those can be things that are very important and valuable to experience those types of feelings and be grateful this time of year. And the other thing is, if it's around like holidays, you're going on vacation, like I mentioned with financial stressors, if you can plan ahead, you can, eliminate that kind of burden on it being like a last minute expense, because you've saved up maybe throughout the year or at least through the last couple of months as you've prepared for the trip. The other advantage to looking ahead, whether it's for these family and friends gatherings or if you're going on vacation, is that our brains are wired towards anticipation, and the trigger of dopamine that we get from sort of that idea of it being a feel good hormone is actually much more around uh, anticipation and motivation towards future events. So what this essentially means around looking forward to holidays is actually take the time to sit down and plan and look forward to it, because it's going to have a much longer and drawn out effect of enjoyment around that holiday, rather than just frantically racing to the airport, getting on the plane, and then sitting down on the beach. And all of a sudden, because you didn't look forward to it, your brain's kind of already on to the next thing and wondering where's the next vacation you're going on, or what are you going to do at work when you get back. You aren't able to disengage as much because you didn't also make use of that anticipatory time to prepare for the holidays and enjoy that planning process too. So that's something that's helpful to know around getting the most out of this time of year, or also just getting the most out of holidays whenever they do come about for you. So those are a few of the things that I kind of think are helpful and most important for how we can perform our best and recover better during this time of year. So hopefully you find those tips helpful. These are things that I think about with my own performance and recovery this time of year. And so that's all I've got to add in this. I'm working on a few more videos at this point in time that just aren't quite ready. So I just wanted to jump in and share some of these thoughts with you while I had the chance. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until the next one, find your flow.